Factoring over the real numbers by Shannon and Jenny. One method is grouping. This is when you have 4 values, and it does not work for every one. You take the GCF of one pair of 2 and the other pair of 2 and try to get the same answer. Then you take these GCFs and put them together and times them by the same answer. Another method is completing the square. X squared plus 10x equals 12. So x squared plus 10x, divide 10 by 2, and that equals 5. 5 squared is 25, so you add 25 to both sides. Then you have x plus 5 squared equals 37, and you find the square root of both, so you have x plus 5 equals plus or minus the square root of 7. Once you subtract 5, you would have x equals negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 37. Foiling is another method. 2x squared plus 7x plus, there's no really good way to go about this. You just have to have this value and this value to times each other to equal 2x squared, and this value to equal 6, and if you add these, they have to equal 7. Make sure you factor the GCF first.
Sometimes you have to factor by cubes. One equation, for example, if you have a cubed plus b cubed, you would do a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. This is the formula for an addition equation. If you have a subtraction equation and it's something like a cubed minus b cubed, you would use the equation a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. You would just plug in your values for a and b. Now, for number 1, how do you factor 24x to the 4th minus 375x? Well, first you find your GCF. What is the GCF? It is the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor in this equation is 3x. So you take out a 3x. Now, 3x times 8x squared, 8x cubed equals 24x to the 4th, and then minus 125. 3x times negative 125 equals negative 375x. Then you continue to factor this, and this is factoring of cubes. So this equation would be 2x minus 5 times 4x squared plus 10x plus 25. You plug in your a and b values because 2 cubed is 8 and 5 cubed is 125. Using this formula, a squared is 4, a times b is 5 times 2, which is 10, and b squared is 5 squared, which is 25. Then you add your original equation that you brought down, and this is your final factored equation. Place it over here.
Number 2 is a factor. You would use foiling. Now, there's no good way to go about this. So you just have to try to figure out what this would be 1 and 3. And this could be 2 and 3 or 1 and 6. Now, if you can see that 3 times 2 equals 6 and 1.
I think the answer is the same answer. Really?
Oh, 3 times 3 equals 9, and 1 times 2 equals 2, and 2 minus 9 equals negative 7. So your final factored answer would be 3x plus 2 times x minus 3. And you can see that 3 times 3 is negative 9, and 2 times 1 is 2, so negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7.
Oh, we need to talk.
Okay, problem number 3 is this equation. Now, how do you solve it? You factor by grouping. So group the equation into two equations. So when you group this together, you take out the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor here is 4x squared. 4x squared times 2x plus 3, because 4x squared times 2x equals 8x cubed, and 4x squared times 3 equals 12x squared. Then you group this. Take out the greatest common factor, which is -1. -1 times 2x plus 3, because -1 times 2x is -2x, and -1 times 3 is -3. Then, you see how these two are the same? Now combine these two, so you have 4x squared minus 1 is one part, and 2x plus 3 is another part. Then you can still factor this equation by foiling 2x plus 1 times 2x minus 1, because 2x squared is 4x squared plus 2x, and minus 2x is 0. And then 1 times -1 is -1. Then you multiply by 2x plus 3. This is your final factored form.